Be sure to go to flipsidegaming.com and use promo code 6 for 10% off on orders over $10. You can do the same at the Grizzly Gentleman for some fantastic beard products that'll make your beard look and smell great. You can also go to TCG Player using the affiliate link below and shop there to help support the show. And last but absolutely not least, go to greyvikinggames.com with the link below to get those sweet arena codes. What is up, Planeswalkers? Theoric 6 back with some more Magic the Gathering Adventures in the Forgotten Realms spoiler stuff. Technically, I'm very far behind because, unlike previous seasons, I'm not doing daily spoiler videos. So, yeah. I was going to record for the Mirror event, but Wizards made it annoying, and I got frustrated, and fuck Wizards. I'm kidding, Wizards. Please don't sue me. So yeah, I'm going to try and go through some of these as fast as possible. Telesar Moondancer is a legendary Ajani's Primate, essentially. Additionally, it costs green. It's an elf cleric, so it goes nicely in cleric-style decks. Clerics, notably, have a lot of healing related to them. It's literally just Ajani's Primate, except you also get to scry one. So one of the places that I can see this being quite interesting is in Brawl. And the reason I think this is quite interesting in Brawl is because you do have some hoops if you're trying to run a life, like this kind of like slow multiple tick life gain deck in Brawl. One is that, one of the main ones would be Heliod. So you don't have access to green. And green does have a lot of beneficial cards, especially if you're also running Angels. But what's nice, like the main thing, is that this guarantees that you have an Ajani's Primate on turn 2. So, you have your Ajani's Welcome or whatever it is, the 1-mana enchantment, and then you have a number of 1 CMC cards that allow you to gain life. Now you have a card that can consistently come down early and consistently start getting better as you're gaining that life. So I think Brawl is the best place for her. Because she's legendary, I don't love her as much in kind of like a green-white company life gain style deck. It's definitely possible, but again, I'm just not enthused by the possibility of you drawing multiples of her when you already have her on the field, right? Ajani's Primate, not legendary, you can keep playing them, but with Trelasara, can't really do that. Horny Bard. This is a non-binary bard. They are 3-mana 2/3 Bardic Inspiration. One of your creatures gets +1/+0. You can give it to this. I guess it's on a common. I would have preferred to see if this was +1/+0 or +0/+1. Because Bardic Inspiration can also help with ability rolls. I know, it doesn't add to your AC inherently, but it can add to ability rolls. And I just think that it would have been kind of cool to see that represented by having the toughness be higher. But otherwise, I don't like purple tieflings, so I'm not going to comment. The Tarrasque. I don't think I've talked about this yet. No, I'm pretty sure I haven't. 9 mana, 10/10, legendary creature, dinosaur. I'm going to start there. Dinosaur? I can understand, but just dinosaur? Like, the Tarrasque is a monster, I believe, is what it's like. Monstrous, I think, is what its technical D&D classification is. Why isn't this a beast? I understand there should be a dinosaur and a beast, and there are dinosaur beasts in Magic. This one should be a beast as well. This is like the free, like, you look up in the fantasy dictionary for just the biggest beast, and it's a Tarrasque. It just, I don't understand why Wizards is just refusing to print any good beasts anymore, damn it. I understand that I'm biased because I play my L, but I don't care, alright? If Tarrasque was cast, it has haste and ward. Okay. Ward 10, pretty cool. But now here's a weird thing. We have a 10/10, ward 10, 9 mana Wizards. Why? Why, Wizards? Why couldn't you make it cost 10? I know you're saying, but then it'd be harder to be good. Yeah, here's the other thing. It should have more abilities. Whenever Tarrasque attacks, it fights target creature defending player controls. Notice, at least as is currently translated, this is not a May ability. It could be worded differently, but according to the translations we have, you don't get a choice. This thing can be chump blocked, and it can literally die to a bunch of squirrels. The Tarrasque in D&D is this just completely mind-boggling trial for party members. Its CR is like, I think it's like the highest CR maybe. It's like 30, dude. And I believe the way CR works is like, it's a CR is that's how many like a party of that level. You have a max level of 20 in D&D. Technically, you could maybe do some prestige type classes, but you have a max level of 20. It's not likely that you can just do it. Like, it has freaking... Okay, sure, anti-magic. Cool. It has haste. Sure, I guess. It is near unkillable is the thing, and this is very easily killable. The fact also that, like, it isn't just the biggest creature in Magic. I understand, like, the thing is, this is not even, like, this doesn't even do a Tarrasque well, right? Like, this thing, oh, look, it's the size of, like, 40-story building. This thing should be even bigger. This thing should be fucking huge. But also, like, if nothing else, like, this thing should have some form of indestructibility. Like, even if it's like, oh, you can exile it still, like, whatever. But, like, the fact that it doesn't have trample? Like, at least give it trample. Make it cost 10 mana, give it trample. Why? I don't understand why this card sucks. And the thing is, it's not even a great reanimator target. Like, it's just not. It doesn't do anything. If you didn't cast it, it doesn't have haste, it doesn't have ward. Sure, when you attack, you get a value out of it. But if it doesn't have ward, it's just a stupid 10/10. This, like, if you reanimate this card, it is functionally a little bit bigger than what Gigantosaurus. Look, I'm not gonna fucking figure out. Oh, no, it's just literally Gigantosaurus. The beast of beasts can be killed by just a big dinosaur. This is stupid. Why? I'm bothered. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Very sick negative space depiction of a beholder here. Pretty cool. These are very interesting lands. Early on, they come in untapped. But later on, they'll come in tapped. They're also creature lands. If you control 2 or more other lands, Hive of the Eye Tyrant enters the battlefield tapped. So if you control 2 or more. So yeah, if this is your 3rd land drop, it will come in tapped. You can add black, pay 4 mana, until end of turn, becomes a 3/3 black beholder creature with menace, and whenever this creature attacks, exile target card from defending player's graveyard. It's still land. It's just a creature land. It's a pretty cool creature land. 3/3 with menace for 4. That's totally decent. It has upside. You just get to exile something from your opponent. That's just this graveyard. I really like this. I really like this as the first in the series. Hall of the Storm Giant. I'm very saddened that, unless I'm missing it, I don't see anything interesting. They're all done by the same artist, I think. But I don't see, like, a negative space one for the Giant. And again, I could just be not, like, missing it. I don't see it. It makes me sad. Same text, except it's blue. 6 mana. Until end of turn, Hall of the Storm Giant becomes a 7/7 blue giant creature with ward. Now, things like Celestial Colonnade have been used, I think still see use in, like, Modern, for control decks. They're additional finishers, essentially. Decent lands that allow you to finish the game off. It's possible that this will see play in Azorius control. Because by the time... I guess like, the issue and the difference is that... Yeah, the issue and the difference is that Colonnade tapped for... something from, like, either white or blue. I believe it only costs 5, and I believe it's also flying and has vigilance, so you can still use it as the land. 6 mana. I don't like 4 mana for a 3/3 with menace, prime. 6 mana for a 7/7 with ward 3. I don't know if that's prime, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this one as much. Owlbear. It's a bird bear. Trample. It's a 4/4. When Owlbear enters the battlefield, draw a card. It's Owlbear. It's, you know, common stuff. Minion of the Mighty. This is absolutely hilarious. We're getting more kobolds, and they're still 0/1s, which is just rude. They have menace. Sure. They're 0/1s, so the fact that they have menace means that they're slightly less likely to die in combat. When it pack tactics is pretty cool. Whenever it attacks, if you attack with creatures with total power 6 or greater this combat, you may put a dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking. It doesn't return at the beginning of the next end step. You don't have to sacrifice it or anything like that. It's just, which is cool. Don't get me wrong. But it has 0 power, so it doesn't add to the dragon thing. So you're probably going to need another dragon before this gets pack tactics. But if you have a dragon by the time you get pack tactics, you can probably just pay for another dragon. And now you just have like a 1 mana 0/1, which is a garbage top deck in your deck full of literal units. So Xanathar, Guild Kingpin. We have Xanathar. This art is not very clear. All right. We have Xanathar. 6 mana, 5/6, legendary Beholder. I love that Beholders are in here. It's sick. Just cool stuff. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose target opponent. Until end of turn, that player can't cast spells. You may look at the top card of their library anytime. You may play the top card of the library, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast a spell. So, on your upkeep, if you're playing like Brawl or something, your opponent, your singular opponent, can't cast spells. Can't cast spells in your turn. I love it. Already right there. Bang, cool. You can also just play things off their top. It's kind of like Fires of Vengeance, or not Fires. It's kind of like Coffee. I cannot for the life of me recall what the hell. Don't know. But the Coffee enchantment from Ravnica. It's kind of like that, except you can still cast the cards in your hand as well. So yeah, this card is absolutely redonkulous. It's a 6 mana 5/6 and doesn't get value until your upkeep. But my guess is that if you're playing this, for what it's worth, you're absolutely not playing this in like any constructed format. But if you are playing this in like Brawl or something, then you're probably playing like a blue-black control deck, and this is your finisher. Your commander is also your finisher. You probably don't play it until like turn until you have like 8 or 9 mana, so you can hold up counter magic. And then you just snowball and win the game. Purple Worm. So for those who don't know, purple worms are illithid, which are the tentacle dudes. They are escaped tadpoles, I believe. I want to say that's right. I'm pretty sure it's called... I might be wrong. Crap. I don't remember, man. There's so many like monsters. I want to say it's the purple worm. But the issue is that in the monster manual, it doesn't look like this. You know what? Screw it. I will be right back. Okay. No. Purple worm, just a dumb purple worm. By the way, it took me way longer than it should have to find this stuff because I'm stupid, and I was like, I don't need to look it up on the internet. I get the source books. It's totally fine. I hate myself so much. This is the Tarrasque. He gets a page of art to itself. Legendary resistance, magic resistance, reflective carapace, siege monster. It makes 5 attacks. It has legendary actions, can move, attack, chomp, swallow, frightful presence. It has a tail attack, horn attacks. It's a strength of fucking 30. And a constitution of, again, 30. Gargantuan monstrosity. Titan. Ridiculous. Anyway, the thing I was thinking about is the Neothylid. The Neothylid, whatever you want to say. Look, they're both purple. They absolutely do not look similar to each other at all, but shut up. All right, I have D&D. Notice that this is a worm, not a worm. So, you know, it's going to till your soil. Anyway, a super long amount of nonsense for me to say essentially limited. Sphere of Annihilation. Sick. X black artifact. Sphere of Annihilation enters the battlefield with X void counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile Sphere of Annihilation. All creatures and planeswalkers with mana value less than or equal to the number of void counters on it, and all creatures and planeswalker cards in all graveyards with mana value less than or equal to the number of void counters on it. So this compares very similarly to Shadow's Fudge. The 5 mana board wipe in Historic that exiles CMC 3 creatures and planeswalkers from the field and from the graveyard. I can't. Shadow's Verdict. There we go. Very similar to that, except here. Holy shit. Why is this pre-ordering for $24? Except here, your opponent gets to see it first. So your opponent is going to be made aware of the fact that, you know, their board might be wiped pretty soon. That's not, excuse me, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because even though they're not going to commit more to the board, that does mean that they're not going to commit more to the board. And if you're playing this card, you're probably playing against a deck that wants to commit more to the board. So you essentially you get to say, not get blown up. It's also quite nice that this exiles in graveyards. It's very helpful. Ooh. The biggest hurdle with this card is the fact that it is on upkeep, obviously. But not because your opponent won't play things, but if you're aiming for the graveyard, obviously if you're aiming for the board, you know, it's fine, it's better, especially since it does exile, it doesn't destroy. But if you're aiming for things in the graveyard, like against Phoenix, they can possibly just play the Phoenix and kill you. Because Phoenix, fun fact, comes back and swings. So, yeah. Den of the Bugbear. I'm pretty sure that this is meant to be like the Bugbear, which makes it more baffling that I don't understand where the Frost Giant thing is, but whatever. 4 mana. Whenever becomes a 3/2, with whenever this creature attacks, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token tapped and attacking. So this one is essentially the same as the Beholder one. Reasonable cost, reasonable body, 1 less point of toughness, doesn't have menace, so it is a little bit easier to die. But the trade-off here is that you make a goblin, like you make a permanent goblin from it. So you have some lasting benefit. Unfortunately, for balance reasons, it is on attack. So it's not like you can just pay 4 end of turn to make a goblin. Like, that would just be stupid. I hate the name of this dragon because it's so edgelord. Icingdeath, Frost Tyrant. 4 mana, 4/3, legendary creature dragon. It has flying and vigilance. When it dies, create Icingdeath Frost Tongue, a legendary white equipment artifact token with equipped creature gets +2/+0. Whenever equipped creature attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. So, just on its surface, 4 mana, 4/3, flying vigilance dragon seems pretty good. Doesn't seem all that bad, to be honest. This is very comparable to some of the lower cost angels, the lower MV angels. And when it dies, you get stuff out of it, which is quite nice. The equip cost of 2 is not all that bad, considering it does make it so your creature's stronger and can remove blockers that could kill the attacker, can remove chump blockers so that you can force trades. So I really like this card, and I very well might see this in Historic, maybe in like a tier 2 or 3 deck. And then, of course, just like this being a part of Brawl in like a Boros equipment deck would be pretty sick. Flame Skull! Yeah! Skeletor! 1 dub red skeleton, flying Flame Skull, can't block. It's a 3/1. Rejuvenation. When Flame Skull dies, exile it. If you do, exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play one of those cards. I love this card so much. Essentially, right? You can't block with it, so you're only attacking. Or you're sacrificing it. Now, you exile it, and you exile another card with it. If that card is better than Flame Skull, you just cast that. Sure, you lose your Flame Skull, but you also got benefits from whatever you used for sacrificing it. You could also attack and then sacrifice it. You can get a lot of nice use out of this card. And then, if the card is like just a basic land, for what it's worth, you could play a land. It does say play. You can just get the Flame Skull back. It's sweet. You have to pay for it, but who cares? Like, this card is awesome. It's a fucking Flaming Skull. What more do you want from me? It's cool. Cave the Ice Dragon. Hey, look, it's the mouth of a dragon. All by the same person. I really don't understand where the other thing went. 5 mana. Cave of the 3/4 dragon with flying. It's one of the most boring ones. Even the Frost Giant one, I think, is more interesting, but it's still reasonable. This is probably just better than the Frost Giant one in a typical Azorius control deck. Yeah. Yeah, it has the evasion, doesn't do as much damage, but also doesn't cost as much mana. So it's probably just better for that specific style of deck. More cards that are just like story cards. I want to collect like all of these damn things and just like run a campaign by looking through like a deck of cards with these cards in it. I think designing a game around these cards, either making them in order, making them random somehow, making a map out of them, essentially, like you have your characters on a location, they move to one of a couple tiles that are face down, you flip them face up, and then you get to roleplay that scenario, and then branch from that, you have some other paths that, and the thing is, like, this is stuff that you've chosen beforehand, so it would have a lot of like DM work in terms of like deciding where things should be, but I feel like it would also be just a fantastic game for like a one shot or something. And I feel like you can also just like kind of redo it, move things around and stuff. I think it'd be super cool. You come to a river, 2-minute instant, fight the currents, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Very normal, like blink of an eye stuff, or target creature gets +1/+0 and can't be blocked this turn. So definitely good stuff. Can bounce something or make your creature bigger. It's possible that this could go into blue-based tempo decks, but the fact that it costs, well, yeah, I'm not sure, because it makes it so they can't be blocked, which is good, and it has versatility. Like the thing here, right, is they don't want this ability for 2 mana. They want it for 1 mana. Well, technically they have Unsummon for 1 mana, but this does hit permanence, so that might matter. And they don't want this for 2 mana. They would rather have this for 1 mana out on an enchantment. But it's possible that'll see some use. Mimic. It's a Mimic. It's horrifying. It is utterly horrifying. 2 mana Treasure, which is very cool, which apparently is Schatz in German. I think that's German. Opfer den Mimic. Open them. Offer? Oh, offer? Maybe. Sacrifice Mimic, add 1 mana of any color. Kind of sucks that you have to sacrifice the Mimic, but whatever. Or 2 mana, Mimic becomes a shapeshifter artifact. Base power 3 and 3. It's cool. It's very similar to something Idol? Guardian Idol, maybe? There are too many magic cards running through my head. It's similar to that. Obviously, the reason you have to sacrifice is because it's a treasure. Like, sure. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. You can use it as just like this expensive beater that you can also just use. For what it's worth, it being a treasure, I assume it works with the other like treasure cards, like Galazeth, I think is what it is. The Black Staff of Waterdeep is a 1 mana or 1 blue mana legendary artifact. You may choose not to untap it during your untap step. Animate Walking Statue, 2 mana, tap another target non-token artifact you control becomes a 4/4 as long as this remains tapped. So what the There's a man in the sky. I did not initially see that. That's not just clouds, right? That's supposed to be a guy in the sky. There's no way that wasn't on purpose. But yeah, like the fact that it's non-token artifact, it's interesting that they don't specify that here, but on here it says non-token. The fact that it's non-token does kind of suck. But it does become a 4/4. So like on turn 2, control becomes a 4/4 artifact creature. There are fireworks going on right now. It's the 3rd. I hate humans. Based on the wording, I feel like this means that the artifact loses its abilities? It doesn't say it does, but it says it becomes a different thing. And it could have just said, like, it has base power 4/4. Yeah, until I learn how exactly that works, this may or may not be good in, like, a blue splash affinity deck. Treasure Chest. Wait. This itself isn't treasure? How is this card itself not treasure? That makes 0 sense to me. Sure. 3 mana to play, 4 mana to sack the chest and roll a d20 on a crit fail. Technically, crit fails aren't real. On a nat 1. You lose 3 life. Haha, it was booby-trapped. 2 through 9, you create 5 treasure tokens. Cool. The thing is, the investment, not worth the squeeze. 7 mana, sure, it's across 2 turns, but 7 mana make 5 treasure, not that great. 10 through 19, you draw 3 cards, but you only gain 3 life. 3 life is meaningless. It's just like meaningless. But also, you don't get the treasure tokens. And then on a nat 20, search your library for a card. If it's an artifact card, you may put it on the battlefield. Otherwise, put that card into your hand. These things are so incredibly different that it really feels like this out of a lot of the D20 cards, this feels like the most gambly. Cause this, like, these are all different effects. So, Circle of Dreams Druid. It's a green, 2/1 elf druid. Tap, add green for each creature you control. This card is stupid good. This card is ridiculous. Holy... Yeah, I mean, I believe this. I think this card is going to be more expensive when it comes out. $65 pre-order. I believe this card will be more expensive as time goes on. There might be a dip during like the main printing of this set, but this card is going to be an elf druid staple in EDH for a long time. This card is stupid. This is Gaia's Cradle on a stick, but the thing is, it gets buffed by your elf lords. You are probably casting this on turn 2. Like, I mean, that's the thing, right? Llanowar Elf, like, I mean, now I'm even talking about historic. Llanowar Elf, Circle of Dreams Druid. On turn 2. Turn 3, you play a 3rd land. You play a Lord. Okay. You now tap the Circle of Dreams Druid. No. That. You tap the Llanowar Elf. You play the, who's that loser? Who is the loser? Well, there's so many different options. So, okay, screw it. Turn 1, Llanowar Elf. Turn 2, this. Turn 3, you tap the Llanowar Elf and your 3 lands to play out the Beast Whisperer. Then you tap the Circle of Dreams Druid to bring out a Lord, any 3 CMC thing. Reclamation Sage, I think, is an elf. She might not be an elf. I'm pretty sure she's an elf. Like, that is something you can do if you want to blow stuff up. It's so stupid, the things that you can do with this. You could just play a freaking Lord. Like, even that's just fine. And if you get to draw a card, like, this is stupid. It's so stupid. I love it, but it's stupid. Plundering Barbarian, 3 mana, Dwarf Barbarian for a 2/2. When it enters, choose 1, smash the chest, destroy an artifact, or pry it open, create a treasure token. So this is similar to Manic Vandal. This is similar to Manic Vandal, which I believe is a 2/2. Yeah. So it's similar, except it's just better in almost every way. Still limited unless there's some dwarf or barbarian tribal. You see a guard approach. 1 mana instant, distract the guard, tap target creature, or hide. Target creature control gains hexproof until end of turn. This card, I think, is more likely to see play in the tempo deck. because they have Dive Down already. Now, yes, Dive Down can and is used for the boost to toughness, because it means you can block something that you otherwise couldn't. But this can do the same thing by just making it so that they have that creature tapped. So they go to attacks before they declare attacks, or they enter combat. You tap the creature that you would have had to block anyway. That creature isn't still blocked during your turn. You get to now attack through what would otherwise be a blocking scenario. Is cool stuff. I like this card. I'm going so slowly. Dawnbringer Cleric, 2 mana, 1/3 human cleric. When it enters, choose one, Cure Wounds, Dispel Magic, or Gentle Repose. I love these things. A lot of people are like real pissy about it, and I think they're stupid. Like these cards functionally don't exist on the cards. Like functionally, they don't. In fact, I think it's like what is this? O? Landfall. Yeah, it's essentially the same as Landfall. Obviously, it can be referenced. You know, things care about like I think things care about Landfall trigger. Maybe they don't even. Yeah, I don't even know if anything references Landfall. Like not the ability, not the actual whenever a land enters the battlefield, blah, 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 because things obviously do that. But I'm saying, like, I don't think anything references Landfall. So these cards are fundamentally identical to cards that don't say Landfall, but do the exact same thing, that care about land ETBs. So it's just flavor words, man. It's so cool. Anyway, you gain 2 life to short target enchantment or exile target card from a graveyard. All of these, real flavorful, real cool. Charmed Sleep. This is a reprint, but it's pretty sick because Sleep is a D&D spell that I love using on my low-level sorcerers. You hear something on watch. Pretty cool. 2 mana instant. Choose one. Rouse the party or set off traps. You can buff your creatures by 1, or the spell deals 5 damage to target attacking creature. This is actually a decent version of these cards. Often you'll see these types of cards, like Marrow Shards, things like that. They just deal damage to an attacking creature. That's not very great, though. And now, you can have it be a combat trick. I mean, technically the first one, the set off traps is a combat trick, but, you know, you can have Rouse the Party attached to it, so this card is, like, infinitely better. Oh my god. Devour Intellect. This is an Intellect Devourer, hilariously. Single black mana, sorcery, target opponent discards a card. Not great. You don't get to choose the card. Very similar to like Raven's Crime in that fashion. But if mana from a treasure was spent to cast a spell instead, that player reveals their hand, you choose a non-land card from it, that player discards a card. So obviously it gets better with the treasure use, but still just forces them to discard a card. Now, for what it's worth, we have Thoughtseize in Historic. This card is not going to see play probably at all. Even in like a dedicated treasure deck, I don't think you play that. Guild Thief, Orc Rogue. This was Lady Lavinius's reveal card, and she showed us her little tusks. It was pretty cool. Cat. Oh, that's not the cat. I was thinking the cat was hitting something. It's the freaking fireworks outside. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Anyway, let's talk about a nerd card game. 2 mana, 1/1. When it deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it. Pretty sick. It grows. I like it. Cunning Action, which is a rogue ability, which is cool. 4 mana, Guild Thief can't be blocked this turn. Cool. This is something that does rogue stuff. It likes hitting players, and it can make it so it can hit players by being roguey. This card's awesome. Is it going to see play? Maybe, actually. I wouldn't be super surprised. Gelatinous Cube. Love it. Hilariously. Hilarious. 4 mana, 4/3. Ooze. Ivan Ooze. Engulf. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-Ooze creature an opponent controls until Gelatinous Cube leaves the battlefield. Often you see this in white. Mostly you see this in white, actually. I think in this instance it's fine. It makes thematic sense. And then Dissolve. X in a black. Put target creature card with mana value X with exiled with Gelatinous Cube into its owner's graveyard. You essentially get to just consume the creature, which is fucking hilarious. I do kind of wish that you had some benefit from it. Like, even if it's just like gain 1 life. Like something kind of ridiculous. Like just something tacked on there. Nothing really that would make this more mechanically powerful, but just a little touch. Manticore. Utterly horrifying. 4 mana, flash, flying, 2/1 Manticore. Flash flying. Okay, cool. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target creature and opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. Sure. This is a limited card that has different variations of this I've seen play in the past. This will see play. Bull Strength. 2-mana instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. Untap it. I love the untap it. The untap it means that this can be used as a defensive combat trick. I love that it says trample, so it can be used as an offensive combat trick. Cool card. You see a pair of goblins. Oh, these goblins are fugly. 3 mana, instant, choose one, charge them or befriend them. Creatures you control get +2/+0, or create 2 1/1 red goblin creatures. Obviously, you would rather pay 2 for the first one. You'd rather pay 2 for the second one. But the fact that you have an option means that it costs 3. Also, for what it's worth, it is instant. And Raise the Alarm, like if red just got Raise the Alarm, I'd be like, holy crap, it's a bit much. Braziliax, Illithid Scholar. I'm assuming maybe it's more like Liliana. I don't know. It's a 3 mana 3/2 horror. Interesting that the Mind Flayers, or I prefer calling them Illithids, are horrors. It makes sense. I mean, I guess there wouldn't really be anything else that they could do, because they're not actually like octopodes or anything like that. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, you may return it to its owner's hand. Interesting. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. So notably, because this says whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player. Yeah, so what this means essentially is you're only ever going to be drawing 1 per combat with this, because it says 1 or more. So during combat, you hit with more than 1 creature, that's the more, you just draw a card. It's interesting that you can choose to bound to your creature. Because then like, because on the one hand, this card wants some evasion creatures, but it also wants creatures with like ETBs. So maybe like the card I'm thinking about is the 3 mana 2/1 flying elemental that ETB draws a card. So cards like that make sense. Yeah, I don't know. This card is very strange, which makes sense because it's an Illithid. Choose your weapon. 3 mana instant, choose 1, 2 weapon fighting or archery, double target creature's power toughness. Cool, sure. Or archery, deal 5 damage to target creature with flying. It's rude. And once again, like, these both feel like things you'd want for 2 CMC separately, but the fact that you get them together, yep, pay 3. 50 feet of rope, love it. 1 mana artifact, climb over, just tap it, target wall can't block this turn. It's so funny. Tie up, 3 mana, tap it, target creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. Pretty decent. Like, this is colorless, right? Like, white will often have these kind of Ballynock trapper effects, and they're pretty damn good. Repel down, 4 mana, tap it, venture into the dungeon, activate only as sorcery. So these other ones, you can activate whenever. This one, you have to activate a sorcery, but still, I think this is... I'll explain why you have to do this as sorcery. Right. I need to turn down the Oblivion music a little. I think it's becoming a little bit overbearing. Okay. That might be a little bit better. I really hope it hasn't been overbearing to this point. Is because, if you... Actually, never mind. Because you want to use all of these on sorcery. Or functionally sorcery speed. They essentially just don't... They want it so that you're not getting the effects of dungeons at instant speed. I'm not going to talk about it. I was going to talk about... I don't like activate only as a sorcery. I think that wizards should add some new terminology. Like, having this is fine, but I think there should be some new terminology, just like activate only during main phases. There are cards, and they could... Fuck it, apparently I'm talking about it. And they can't say, like, oh, we can't really do that because we don't really reference phases. One, double combat cards literally say you have another main phase and another combat phase. 2, there's a ton of cards that say cast only during the combat phase. I think most of them are older, but still. And then you have a bunch of cards that literally say at the beginning of combat. Talk about upkeep and stuff. So even though they don't talk about main phase a lot, they do talk about other phases. Upkeep, I think, is one of the main ones. I think it'd be cool if they just had, like, activate during... Yeah, just activate only during the main phase. Like, even if it's, like, instant speed during main phase, like, it's just... come on. Orb of Dragonkind, 2 mana. Artifact, 1 in tap, add 2 mana in any combination. Spend it only on dragon stuff. Red and tap, stack it. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal a dragon card from among them and put it into your hand with the rest on the bottom in any order. It's cool for the Brawl dragon decks. That's it. Werewolf Pack Leader. I guess she does look more like... She kind of looks more like the werewolves, the lycanthropes, that actually is in the monster manual, not in Volo's guide. She looks more like the lycanthropes that you see in D&D, I think. Dragons. Shut up. This is my channel. I do what I want. See, they're still like unlike the Innistrad ones, they're still like bipedal. They're like upright. Now, obviously, she has like human skin still, but they definitely feel a bit more humanoid here. Anyway, green 3/3 already great. Human werewolf, great, works with human tribal and werewolf tribal. Pack tactics, cool. If you attack with total power of 6 or greater, you draw a card. Pretty sick. And like, for what it's worth, this is just half of that, right? This is straight half of that. You cast, I mean, like this on turn 2, turn 3, you cast, I always call her Gruul Lady because I never remember her name. The 3 mana Riot Gruul card that gives you an 8 hexproof on your turn. And bada bing, bada boom, you get to draw a card. Like, that's pretty sick. And 4 mana until end of turn, Werewolf Pack Leader has base power and toughness 5/3 and gains trample and isn't human. So essentially, this is like a different style of transforming. I'm very curious to see how they handle werewolves in the upcoming Innistrad set, because we've seen the flip wolves, and we've also seen so wolves that flip on triggers, and then we've also seen wolves that you pay to flip. This is like one step from that, which is just you pay, you don't flip it, you just alter something about it for a limited time. So I'm very curious to see what we see with Innistrad. I would be a little upset if we don't see permanent flipping, but this card's pretty sick. The Book of Vile Darkness, love it. I believe this is Vecna, by the way. Triple black, legendary artifact. Already cool. Triple black can potentially go into the mono black devotion deck. At the beginning of your end step, if you lost 2 or more life this turn, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Awesome. You can play some sort of like weird, kind of like black devotion, suicide, black style deck. You have access to the black enchantment from Ixalan block that allows you to pay life to draw cards, that flips once you get down below a certain life threshold. There's like the vampire, I guess that only deals 1 damage to you. But still, like, you have shocklands as well. Like, literally, you can just, on your 3rd turn, play a black shockland, play this, end of turn you get to make a zombie creature. Then obviously you can have more zombies, like Gary, and gain that life back. And tap, exile Book of Vile Darkness and artifacts you control name Eye of Vecna, Hand of Vecna. Create Vecna, a legendary 8/8 black zombie god creature token with indestructible. It gains all triggered abilities of those exiled cards. This is so cool. We get Vecna, a zombie god with indestructible, baby! Moonblessed Cleric. 3 mana 3/2 human elf cleric, divine intervention. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, and put it on top. This is awesome for any enchantment brawl decks, but also for any enchantment EDH decks. I know that I'm going to be trying this in my black-white Daxos enchantment deck, because sure, she's not an enchantment herself, but she can literally just go get any enchantment. And it's like, alright, cool, I get to draw this next turn. Ebon-Death, Dracolich. This is a 4 mana 5/2 zombie dragon with flash and flying, swag. It enters tapped. Okay, you can't ambush your opponent's stuff. But You may cast Icingdeath Dracolich from your graveyard if a creature not named Icingdeath Dracolich died this turn. Gisa loves this. It's so sick, dude. So, with Gisa, obviously, you sack this, you make 5 2/2 zombies, use, like, Phyrexian, crap. No. What's that card called? Assassinate? Fudge. I feel so bad. It's the 1 black enchantment that you can pay a black and sack a creature to destroy target non-black, possibly non-artifact creature. Annihilation? It might be Annihilation. You do that, and then you can, like, recast Icingdeath. Awesome. Sick. Awesome. Cool. Sweet. Awesome. Also, what you can do is you can have Gravespawn Sovereign. Now, Gravespawn Sovereign is a 6 mana 3/3, I think. But what it does is it says tap 5 zombies you control. I think it's zombies. Return target, possibly zombie, but it could just be creature, from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, you could just sack this, bring it back. It's awesome. Now, when it comes to Arena, it's possible that we could see a red-black sacrifice deck that is a little less aggressive. One that plans on getting to a little bit higher of a mana cost, that doesn't want to have green, doesn't want to deal with being just a stupid good deck with Corvold, but it has things like Icingdeath. Now, you can, like, sacrifice Icingdeath to something, or it just dies even. Then you sacrifice your cat, bring Icingdeath back for only 4 mana, and you can get the cat back as well, because it's cat. So, it's a cool card. Adult Gold Dragon is not a cool card. I do not understand this card. It's a rare. It's a 5 mana 4/3 flying lifelink haste. Like, I recognize that haste plus, like, I recognize that these keywords together, or whatever, are good. I understand that. But it's only a 4/3. Like, why not a 4/4? Like, this thing dies to so many 3-drops, and it dies to a few 2-drops as well. I don't understand why an adult gold dragon, which is pretty big, obviously it's not an ancient gold dragon, but an adult is like 1 before ancient, I think. Why it's so weak? Like physically weak. I'm fine with it costing 5 if it just had like 1 more point of toughness. Even then, I would still think it's kind of weird for an adult dragon to be that, but whatever. Green Dragon. 6 mana 4/4 flying green dragon. When it enters the battlefield, whenever a creature an opponent controls is dealt damage, destroy it. Cool, this can be used with some weird... Oh my god. Okay, I was going to say, like, this card can be used with some cool, like, random janky combos and stuff, but, man, this art's fantastic. It's pretty sick. Okay. Black Dragon. 7 mana, 4/4 flying Black Dragon. Acid Breath. When Black Dragon enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -3/-3 until end turn. For what it's worth, these dragons are essentially limited stuff, but still. Dueling Rapier is a 1 red artifact equipment. It has flash. When it enters the battlefield, attached to a creature you control, equipped creature gets +2/+0. Man, this seems so much more fair than Embercleave. Because it doesn't give, I don't know, double strike, trample, and ++ equip 4. You find the villain's lair. 3 mana, instant. Foil their scheme, learn their secrets, counter a spell, or draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards. This card's pretty sick. I wouldn't be surprised if this saw some play in Historic. Because I often talk about, when I'm talking about control decks, I'm often talking about needing like, if you're running counterspells, you need cards or effects that you can do at instant speed, so that when you hold up your counterspell and your opponent doesn't do anything that you want to counterspell, you can still do something. And what's nice about this card is, if your opponent doesn't have anything you want to counterspell, and your hand is, like, kind of shaky otherwise, you can essentially what is Faithless Looting? God, I'm trash. Inspiring Bard. They look angry that this Bard is doing this. 4 mana, Elf Bard, 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1 Bardic Inspiration or Song of Rest. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You gain 3. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oops. Huh. Yeah, see, flavor words. They don't even do the same thing. This is Bardic Inspiration, and so is this. Huh. Yeah. It's a what, hill giant? It's a hill giant with upside. It's an elf. Probably pretty decent and limited. Battle Cry Goblin. 2 mana, 2/2 Gobbo. Has 2 mana goblins you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. That's actually pretty sick. That's like advanced fire breathing. Yeah, I mean, it's cool. And then it has Pack Tactics. Attack with 6 or more. Create a 1/1 red goblin creature token that's tapped and attacking. Generally cool stuff. It has some nice abilities. And gain haste. It's possible that this is like a one-of in Muxus decks. Ochre Jelly is X and green. Trample. Ochre Jelly enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. Cool. Split. When Ochre Jelly dies, if it had 2 or more. If it had 2... I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say 2 or more. 1/1 counters on it. Create a token that's a copy of it at the beginning of the next end step. That token enters the battlefield with half that many 1/1 counters on it. Oh, it doesn't split into 2. Oh, I thought it split into 2 at first. Not as good. But still, there's ways that you can make this functionally infinite. You can have, in non-arena stuff, you have like Hardened Scales and Corpse Jack Menace, things like that that double the number of counters. On arena, you have the 3 mana enchantment that doubles counters, I believe, or just adds an additional. Doesn't technically matter. And then you have the Centaur, the green-white Centaur that adds additional counters. So, like, theoretically, you could just have this thing constantly around. Dies, get another one. Dies, get another one. Just keep going with it. I think it's interesting. White Walker, is a 2 mana, 3/2 zombie soldier with just... I don't like that art. With beautiful art. When it enters the battlefield tapped. Fair. Zombies do that a lot. 2 mana, 3/2. Fair. I'll have it enter tapped. Life Drain. Whenever a creature dealt damage by white this turn dies. I'm just now reading that, and it sounds so strange. Anyway, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token and exile that card. Now, it has to be dealt damage by the white. It doesn't have to be dealt combat damage. So if you have ways of pinging while giving this death touch, for example, you can do cool stuff with that. Or if you have ways of making this have first strike or indestructible, essentially just some way of making it so that it's less likely that the white will die. It's a pretty cool card. I will be trying it in zombies. Hobgoblin Captain, 2 mana Goblin Barbarian, 3/1 with Pack Tactics, 6 or greater. It gains first strike until end of turn. Cool. If you're playing aggressive zombies, this is probably decent. Yeah. So you could play whatever goblin on turn 1. Turn 2, you play this. Turn 3, you play a lord. Yeah. Or just like another hasty goblin or something. Seems reasonable. Wish. 3 mana sorcery. You may play a card you own from outside the game. This turn. Very interesting. This essentially is just like, this turn, feel free to cast a card from your sideboard. Or, in other circumstances like casual, you can just be like, alright, I can play a card this turn. I'm going to cast some stupid thing that's free, right? Some dumb card that everyone's forgotten, and you just play a cool thing. Baleful Beholder, a hideous, ugly monstrosity. Ugh. 6 mana, 6/5. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1 Anti-Magic Cone or Fear Ray. Anti-Magic Cone, each opponent sacrifices an enchantment. Cool. And then Fear Ray, creatures you control gain Menace. Sure. Ranger's Hawk, 1 mana bird. It's a 1/1. 3 and tap another untapped creature you control, venture into the dungeon. Essentially, you have one of your other creatures throw the eagle, or excuse me, throw the hawk, and the hawk like helps you navigate the dungeon. Intrepid Outlander, 2 mana, 2/3, Orc Ranger with Reach, 2 mana, 2/3 Orc Ranger with Reach. This is nuts. And then it has Pack Tactics, attack with 6+, venture the dungeon. This card seems like dummy strong for like a dungeon deck. Like, this card seems nuts. It's a 2 mana, 2/3 with Reach. Like, this card just seems stupid and limited, right? Like, this is just like a always pick uncommon if you take like one other dungeon thing, right? Dragon Turtle, 3 mana flash, Dragon Turtle. It's so weird that this things get buffed by dragon buffs. Yeah, flash 3/5, drag below when Dragon Turtle enters the battlefield, tap it, and up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. They don't untap during their controller's next untap steps. So this can slow your opponent's stuff. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, sure. 3 mana 3/5 delayed. Do I think Blue Tempo would play this? Possibly, man. Because it gets to tap a creature. So your opponent goes to attacks, or they enter combat. You cast this, tap down the creature that they were gonna, like the biggest annoyance that they were gonna attack with. Then it's your turn. Their creature's still tapped. You can't untap your turtle, that's fine. You attack. Their turn. Their creature doesn't untap. This is their first upkeep with that creature being tapped. So they can't attack with that. They might have other creatures, but who cares? It's your turn. You now get to untap your turtle. You have this that you can attack with, and your opponent still doesn't have that blocker. I think this is going to be tried out, if nothing else. Celestial Unicorn. My man's has a beard. That unicorn has a beard. This is incredibly bright. 3 mana, 3/2 Unicorn. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on Celestial Unicorn. It's a 3 mana a Giant's Pride man. The only difference is it starts out with 1 more power. I think I speak for most people. I would have preferred it to start it out with 1 more toughness, not 1 more power, because with 1 more toughness, it can survive better. But whatever. Tiger Tribe Hunter is not the actual name, but whatever. 5 mana, 4/4 Human Barb with Trample, Pack Tactics, particular greater attack. If you do, Tiger Tribe Hunter deals damage to target creature equal to the sacrificed creature's power. Oh, you may sacrifice a creature if you do. Wait, so she's sacrificing her tigers? What the hell? Also, this card seems bad. Because, like, you may sacrifice a creature. This seems 5 mana, 4/4 Trample, like, that's fine in limited. But, like, Pack Tactics, you want to be attacking with kind of decent creatures, but then this wants you to sacrifice, like, a big creature? I don't know. Oswald Fiddlebender. 2 mana, 2/2 legendary creature, Gnome Artificer. I hate gnomes, by the way. All of my characters have been prejudiced against gnomes, and I blame some gnomes that I've played with in the past. I hate gnomes. Halflings? Totally fine. Dwarves? Totally fine. Nothing against the shorts. Hate gnomes. Come. Pay a white and tap, sack an artifact, search your library for an artifact card with mana value equal to +1. Put that card on the battlefield. This essentially is a creature birthing pod, but for artifacts. I am kind of sad that it itself is not... if this was an enchantment, like not a creature so you could activate it on the same turn, this would be pretty sick. I mean, for what it's worth, it's still kind of sick, though. Because like, this doesn't preclude you from getting creatures. Like, you could still get creatures with this. So, I mean, you could, like, sacrifice... you could play, like, Filigree Familiar on turn 3. On turn 4, you sack the Filigree Familiar, go grab Solemn Simulacrum. You have, 3 mana left over, play, another Filigree Familiar, something literally anything else that's good. Next turn, you sack the Solemn. You go get Verdant Gearhulk or something like that. So there are definitely some pretty cool lines that you might be able to do with this just in Historic. I wouldn't be surprised if this card sees some sort of strange kind of Birthing Pod-esque play in other older formats. It's cool. Zeriel, Archduke. Oh fuck yeah. Archduke of Avernus. 4 mana, 4 loyalty Planeswalker. +1 creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. 0, create a 1/1 Red Devil with when the creature dies, deals 1 damage to any target. Then -6, you get an emblem with at the end of your first combat phase on your turn. Untap target creature you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Cool card. I don't think it's particularly good. No, I'm not seeing it. Targnar, Demon Fang Gnoll. I'm upset that gnolls aren't hyenas. Not that they are gnolls and not that they should be hyenas and not gnolls, but that they should be gnolls and hyenas. I will forever advocate for wizards actually using multi-race things in tiers. I think that would be very good for the game. Pack Tactics, cool. Attack creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn. Awesome. It makes your stuff better. 4 mana, double this dude's power and toughness until end of turn. So what's cool is that I don't know if I mentioned this to that 2 CMC card. What's cool about this is it can help you get to Pack Tactics. So you can double it up to 4, so that you only have to attack with another 2-drop or a 2-power creature. Or you can wait until after you get the buff to benefit doubly from the buff. I think it's very cool. Oh, it's an uncommon? Oh, that's pretty sick. Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool. I ain't got much else to talk about with it. Devoted Paladin, 5 mana Orc Knight. Cool. 4/4, Beacon of Hope. Enters the battlefield, creature control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. You've seen this style of effect in previous limited environments. It's probably pretty good. 5 mana 4/4 with pretty decent upside. Probably good. Krydell of Baldur's Gate. It's a 2 mana blue-black human elf rogue. So this is a half elf. Is a 1/3. When it deals combat damage to a player, that player loses 1 life and mills a card. You gain 1 life and scry 1. Sure, that seems interesting. Whenever you attack, you may pay 2. If you do, target creature can't be blocked this turn. You can target itself. You can target something else. It's interesting. It does stuff. It is a rogue for what that's worth. It does things. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Holy crap. Didn't expect it to take me an hour, but it did. I'll be talking about some of the other cards in later videos, probably tomorrow's video, actually. Yeah. Have a PO box for send me stuff. I would like to once again thank my lovely patrons for the continued support. It really helps, especially during right now where my bank account has dipped slightly. So if you are willing and able, I cannot stress able enough, you can support via Patreon down in the description. That would very much help. You can also support financially by becoming a YouTube member or a Twitch subscriber. All of those are equal in my eyes, and it would mean a lot. If you would like to support financially indirectly, where you don't have to pay anything, except maybe a little of your time, like, comment, subscribe. All that stuff really does help. YouTubers do not say it for no reason. It helps. It is how Google pays us. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Until next time, all will be one.